Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Spirit of Beverly Bolden tarot card reading. Today's reading is going to be a mind, body, and soul answering or giving guidance on a topic that I mentioned in my last reading, and that was about being spiritually rich. And I talked about my belief that being spiritually rich makes it possible for you to reach materialistic gain. Materialism oftentimes gets a bad review because it's usually talked about when someone is using materials as a way to measure up their sense of self-worth, or how valuable they are, or how important they are, or how much they are able to one-up people around them who don't have materials. But we are physical beings and we do live on a physical planet, and materials are necessary to exist. But as above, so below. So that before you can manifest physical gain, it must first be incubated and given birth to in the spirit. So this reading is about spiritual richness and spiritual abundance. And so right now I'm setting up the reading altar, if you will, and I have a citrine stone burning here, and then I have a kari shell, but this is money kari, and I have a dime, and then these are herbs for money: cinnamon, bay, clove, and other things that I use to make. This is my money maker oil that I make in my company, Beverly's Beauty Blessings. So I'm going to drop some of that on there, right? And just wave that around, set that up there. So I make money rocks, so I have these type of things around. This is the Taurus astrology wording that I have here, because Taurus rules over money, right? And then I have some coins here and another piece of citrine, just to keep the energy of money, the spiritual energy of money and abundance and richness in the reading. And then I'm going to wake up the energies, get them in line, and also clear any type of energies that don't belong. And let me just get some light going. That's better. By the way, I have 852 hertz sound therapy playing, and it is associated with redirecting the mind away from overthinking, intrusive thoughts, and negative thought patterns. These patterns of thought play a larger role in depression and anxiety, and those are things that stop us from being spiritually rich and therefore having material gain. Exposure to this sound frequency can help alleviate the role of negative thoughts in these psychological ailments. Yeah, anxiety, depression, those are psychological ailments. And when you're experiencing negative thoughts, those are mental parasites. Unwanted energy feeding, energy harvesting entities that are in your mind and don't belong there. So now let's start off with this mind, body, and soul reading. I'm going to start with the herbal deck. I'm being led to shuffle 7 times. This card jumped out just before the 7th time. Let's see what else we're getting. And these two. I'm gonna switch this around. Put these up here and put them down there. A penny fell. You want to come out too? Okay. Now, Spirit says 5 times to shuffle. 1. You want to come out. You too. Well, Spirit has a lot to say about spiritual richness. Matter of fact, let me put this on the charcoal. I'm going to burn that one too. That penny. I'm being led to shuffle twice here. And take 1 card. I see you. Activated earth. Power places. Ley lines. Trust where you are led. Okay. Put you here. I'm going to put some more moneymaker oil on here. So, the first card was Dragon's Blood in reverse. Okay. And let's see what's being said here. The thunderstorm. So, the herbs of the asteroids. Astrological ruler of Dragon's Blood is Black Moon, Lilith, and Pluto. Reversed, lost in the unknown, dark magic, overwhelmed, inner conflict, blocked spiritual sight. Also known as sangre de drogo, or sangre de grado. In Amazonia and South America, this plant has a long history of indigenous use in the rainforest. The sap itself looks just like blood, la sangre, and it was often painted on wounds to promote healing and seal them to prevent infection, as well as taken internally to prevent or stop internal bleeding. So, just off the bat, I would say that being lost in the unknown, and maybe some of you are practicing dark magic, right? And Some of you are overwhelmed, have inner conflict, blocked spiritual sight. These are things that would indeed block spiritual abundance. Only because you have to take your mindset and devote them to worry, fear, depression, anxiety, as I spoke about when I said that I was playing the 852 hertz of frequency sound therapy music. And it says, as well as taken internally to prevent or stop internal bleeding. So using your energies to be depressed or be anxious is like a type of spiritual hemorrhaging. Indigenous people have used it in a myriad of ways externally for wounds, fractures, hemorrhage, and skin disorders, internally for acid reflux, ulcers, and colitis, and as an antiviral. This crucial and life-saving medicine was and still is a staple for thousands of tribal people. Physically, dragon's blood is the epitome of Plutonian and Scorpionic energy, as both archetypes rule the symbol of blood. Shamans have used dragon's blood in spell work, rituals of protection, purification, and consecration. In Christian art, the dragon was symbolic of evil and sin, yet many other traditions hold that serpent deities like dragons are benevolent, sharp-eyed dwellers that hold mystery of the great void, The guidance for this card: dragons are ancient guardians of the earth, symbolizing hidden knowledge and auspicious powers of supernatural origin. Dragons are the etheric beings that inhabit the deepest pockets of the earth, of the ethers, and have dominion over the four elements. Dragon's blood core oozes blood, representing the collective blood, the blood of nature, and serving as a gateway to the anima mundi, the world soul. As you enter the all-seeing portal of the great void, don't shy away from its vastness. Embrace it as you are undergoing this great initiation. Within this awakening, you will discover the unique pattern you contribute to the great tapestry of life. The unique pattern you contribute to the great tapestry of life with regards to this reading is about the unique pattern being your spirit, your breath. What do you bring to the table that no one else can bring? The next card in reverse, Makuna, journey. And if you notice, majority of these cards are in reverse, and reverse is not to be looked at as a negative attribute, because this reading and the information gained by reverse indicates what you need to be mindful of. You know, when you are in surgery and the surgeon finds, the malignancy or the way to correct, he or she doesn't get upset. As a matter of fact, you become hopeful, you become optimistic, you become positive. It strengthens your faith because now you know exactly what it is that needs to be done in order to correct the situation. Makuna, herbs of Mercury, in reverse, choosing comfort, lack of trust in the unknown, resistance to change, lack of spontaneity. So choosing comfort, lack of trust in the unknown, resistance to change, and lack of spontaneity are definitely going to affect your spiritual abundance, your breath of abundance. You can't grow in comfort. Lack of trust in the unknown means that you're not willing to take chances or take risks. Resistance to change, once again, stops growth. Lack of spontaneity means that when you get a business idea, you're not jumping to execute. The large velvet beans of the Macuna, also called Nescafe, has been roasted and ground to make a coffee substitute for hundreds of years. But the plant was used in traditional healing remedies for thousands of years before that. In Ayurvedic medicine, it's known as Kapi Kachu and used to treat parasites, stress, anxiety, rheumatic disorders, menstrual issues, diabetes, and even cancer. In India, it is considered an aphrodisiac, menstrual promoter, uterine stimulant, nerve tonic, and blood purifier. In traditional Chinese medicine and Daoist herbal tradition, Macuna was characterized as a vital essence, or Jing, enhancing herb. Plants that fall into this category are immensely rejuvenating. Macuna has a deeply restorative effect on the brain, nervous system, and hormonal systems. It is believed that Jing leaks as we age or suffer a lot of stress, but plants like Mucana replenish it. Modern studies have identified Macuna pruriens as an alternative treatment for Parkinson's disease. Its naturally occurring high concentration of L-dopa causes the brain to release dopamine, stimulating the pituitary gland to produce human growth hormone and raise testosterone levels. Macuna is ruled both by Mercury and Uranus, as many of its chemical assets stimulate key neurotransmitters in the brain, also known as molecules of higher consciousness. It directly ignites the pineal gland, and also known as the third eye or the seat of the soul. Macuna energizes and activates subtle pathways in the body-mind, becoming one of nature's greatest consciousness-enhancing plants. Guidance. You may be in a state of transition, about to leave familiar territory and initiate a new journey. Something in your gut is telling you it's time for a shift, to enter a new physical space and or field of awareness. The powers of both Mercury and Uranus oftentimes appear as spontaneous opportunities out of the blue. This is the power of the higher mind, magnetizing opportunities that match your spirit's frequencies. So your frequency is already at a higher plane, but because you are choosing comfort and lack of trust in the unknown, resistance to change, and lack of spontaneity, your physical self is what the blockage is. Right here. Next sentence. Don't resist the journey in the name of comfort. The overwhelming rush of emotions that rise before big opportunities is signaling opportunities for growth. So that excitement that you're getting is an indication that big things are about to happen if you venture out and do this. While the waters might seem turbulent at times, the sea of opportunities ahead will be tranquil. So it may seem like it's going to be so much chaos and so much resistance and fight and things that you can't handle, but once you just step through that threshold, it's actually going to be easier and more comfortable than you thought. Let go of whatever's holding you back, be it from the past or the present, and hold your gaze steadily into your future self. So this card is actually saying that you have already arrived. It's just that these things like comfort and being anxious and distrusting the unknown are what the actual blockages are. The next card is Echinacea, which is destiny. Which was in reverse. Karma clinging to control, unwelcome change, cycles of suffering, a change is due. Astrological ruler, Jupiter and Pluto. And so there are two cards that we just picked. The Dragon's Blood and then the Echinacea, both ruled by Pluto, which is Scorpio, which is transformation, which is, Pluto rules darkness and things that most society don't feel comfortable talking about, but that are real and are actually affecting the circumstances, whether it be yours internally or whether it be external. And then Jupiter is about expansion, and the card says destiny. So off the cuff, I would say that if you're willing to delve into the reasons why you are afraid of trusting change, unwelcoming change, clinging to control, it's about cycles of suffering, right? The card before talked about the past and the present. So there's cycles of suffering from the past or in your current circumstances that are actually what's in the dark that is stopping you from reaching the highest potential of your spiritual abundance, your breath, the things that you're able to talk into existence. Many Native American people consider echinacea to be a protective spirit medicine, and some of the root is often included in medicine pouches worn around the hip or neck. The Navajo consider echinacea to be a life medicine, one of the 40 ceremonial plants used for specific healing rituals. On the Great Plains, echinacea washes and poultices are favored to dress wounds, stanch infection, as provide pain relief for sore torn muscles. So you have the echinacea, and then you also have the dragon's blood, which they say was painted onto wounds to heal them. So you have these two things, both ruled by Pluto, that are addressing wounds. And so by wounds ooze out the fluids of your body. So once again, that's back to the spiritual hemorrhaging. These things of yesteryear, these things that are in the dark that are not being dealt with, are bringing forth blockage and losing of energy, spiritual energy, that if you do inner work or shadow work and address the past and the present, things that you are suppressing, then it makes way for you to be able to have spiritual abundance, and therefore it will manifest in the physical realm. The seed and roots of the variety known as pale purple cornflower were popularly used in a decoction to cure colds, flus, reduce fever, soothe burns and boils, and treat arthritis and rheumatism. Many Native American tribes also called it snake root, as it was used as an anti-venom for rattlesnake bites. So some of these things that you are not dealing with have become poisonous to you. And that's also what stops spiritual abundance and physical manifestation. In sweat lodge ceremonies, the roots were chewed to assist in purification and adaptation and to ease pain. The plant was strewn across hot coals to add to the steam and was said to help participants withstand the heat. The Omaha Native American tribe would coat their hands in macerated echinacea root so that they could take hot food out of the boiling pots without being burned by the heat. Echinacea is powerful. To this day, echinacea is used primarily worldwide and proven effective in fighting infections and combating colds, flus, and upper respiratory infections. Echinacea primarily tackles the liver, the blood, and stimulation of the immune system. I just heard a word from Spirit say that some of you are drinking, as in drinking alcohol, in a way to self-medicate and disassociate from these issues that are troubling you. And I can't judge, but I can say that there is nowhere that indicates that if you self-medicate with drugs and alcohol, you are going to solve issues that need to be addressed through communication with a therapist or a life coach or prayer, etc. Echinacea is a powerful, powerful herb. Jupiter herbs like echinacea have a powerful ability to prevent the damaging effects of stress on the organs, enabling deep protection on a multi-organ level. The guidance: the snake eating its tail, the Ouroboros, is the wheel of change, resembling the cycles of life and death. I see the snake eating the tail, and them describing it as the wheel of change means going into your past. Go into them demons. Eat them up. They're yours. Think about it. You are actually containing or holding your demons. So if your body has the ability to contain, then you are actually stronger than your issues. A lion is a powerful beast, but when you put a lion in the cage becomes stronger. So if you are powerful enough to contain the demons, the things of yesteryear, the things in the present that are actually causing you anxiety and depression, then you are stronger than it. You've already won. It's in your destiny to rise above this. The sun and moon orbit and spin the wheel of change, representing our earthly domain. The echinacea sprouting in the center represents evolutionary consciousness, unbound by the confines of destiny. In other words, tomorrow can hold the same restraints and blockages of today. But you don't have to be bound tomorrow by what is affecting you right now. Like the Wheel of Fortune, this card may signal a twist of fate, a time where something in life shifts us and reorients us elsewhere. Echinacea has shown up in your cards today to remind you that the universe is always in motion and nothing is by accident. The key to see through the cycles of destiny is to remain centered and fluid. There's that grounding, there's that balance, and fluid, flowing with the course of life, not in an aloof manner, not being naive, but flowing in a healthy way. The elusive judgments of good and bad only limits the vision of the great understanding. So when things happen, it's the labels. I was listening to Eckhart Tolle, and he talked about how, like when someone leaves us and goes into another relationship, all they did was leave. It's the label that you put on it. Oh, he or she left me, and that was wrong, and they betrayed me. If you just stop it, they left me, then that's all that happened. So once again, the labeling of good and bad oftentimes is what causes the suffering and only limits the vision of the great understanding. Step back and observe the great vision at play and be unbound by the passing influences. Look at what happened from a bigger perspective, and then don't judge it. Don't be convicted by it. It's what happened. You're still here. So we've got these. And so the next card is calendula. And for some reason I have that in upright. I'm going to read upright and I'm going to read reverse. Upright is innocent, childlike joy, humility, purity, new beginnings, trusting in life, vitality. Reverse is broken innocence, lack mindset, inability to access manifestation, resistance to new beginnings. The astrological ruler is the sun. This is the herb of the sun. So this feeds back into the last card. You can choose to be innocent, childlike, have joy, humility, purity, have faith, and trust in new beginnings. Trust life. Be fluid, as the last card just said. Vitality, like what the Mukana brings. Right? It's the journey. Or you can stay in the anxiety and the pain and the troubles, those things in the dark that you're repressing of the past and the present, and you can remain broken, have broken innocence. Broken innocence means that you are dealing with a problem like a child, like you have no clue what to do, how to manifest, how to get ahead. And those are things that a child would be experiencing, but you're grown. Lack mindset. Oh, I'm so broke. I don't have the money. I can't afford it. Inability to access manifestation. Inability to access manifestation because you won't face your inside. You won't face the truth that it's time to make some changes. You're resisting new beginnings because I call it you have become comfortable in your discomfort, which is not comfortable at all. Historically, calendula was known as poor man's saffron, as it was used to add color and flavor to foods in place of the more expensive spice. That's interesting because I actually have some calendula here. You know what? Let me drop some of this. Let me drop some of this on the charcoal. Okay, I'll put it there. It's not still hot, but just the fact that it was sitting there, I think that makes it in alignment. I'm not going to get up and get any more charcoal. I want to stay in sync with the reading. Calendula petals are also added to salads and used as a dye for fabric and hair. From infusions to extract to ointments, folk medicine healers in Europe prepared a wide array of healing remedies and foods with calendula. Its petals were used to induce menstrual flow, produce sweat during fevers, and cure jaundice. I also want to say, just go back, with regards to as a dye for fabric and hair, calendula also lightens. So I would say that lightens darkness. 19th century physicians used calendula to treat viruses, stomach ulcers, liver issues, there's that liver again, and skin infections, traditionally because of its astringent and anti-inflammatory powers. It was also used externally to treat burns, bruises, wounds, and to help stop bleeding. There's that hemorrhaging again. Calendula resembles the sun, a radiant bright yellow or orange flower. It grows easily and spreads its joyful self across gardens. symbolizing the gesture of universal abundance. So just the presence of this creates the atmosphere spiritually of universal abundance. Solar herbs are those that neutralize poison and air and the recuperation of vital forces. So one balancing or grounding thing that you can do is go out into the sun to neutralize the poison and air and recuperation of your vitality. Calendula's gentle and abundant power remind us of light, what I said. Calendula lightens. To be allowed entry within these angelic realms requires childlike innocence and humility. So let's go back to upright. Childlike innocence is joy. In reverse, childlike innocence is broken innocence. Requires childlike innocence and humility, joy and being humble. Don't allow pain from the past to disable your ability to dream a new life. Pain from the past once again. The way that you don't allow pain from the past to disable your ability to dream a new life is to deal with it. Because whether you do inner work or not, or shadow work or not, whether you take the bull by the horns, it's going to manifest some way, shape, or form. So you deal with it or it deals with you. And it is going to affect your financial situation. Calendula represents the pure impulse to create, vitality, and creativity needed to step into a new journey. Creation is freedom. There's that word vitality again, which has been in 2 or 3 of these cards. And creativity needed to step into a new journey. Sometimes when you're doing something new, you gotta be creative and psych yourself out. If it's that much of a burden to you, or the trust issues are so strong, or if, let's say, you can't do inner work today. Maybe the life coach or the therapist that you want to deal with is someone who you can't afford. But creating avenues to increase your money is what's needed. And so you say, okay, well, I may be apprehensive about... Let me give you an example. When I first went outside to sell my products, I was terrified to go out there. But then I realized that bills need to be paid. And so my level of fear was right here. But my desire to not be hungry was here. So by creating or looking at that diagram, I was like, wait a minute. This fear is greater. And this one outweighs this one. This one is reality. This can happen. Fear of going outside, I don't know what's going to happen that's going to hurt me or harm me. That doesn't exist. I'm creating that in my mind. So that was an example of a way that I created the space for me to be courageous enough to go outside. This was well over 10 or 12 years ago, and the rest is history. The radiance of calendula is a superconductor. Be very aware and selective with your intentions when using her energy within a ritual, as she greatly amplifies your intentions. So when you're working with this herb of the sun, be very clear on what's going on inside of you. Because if you are feeling desperate, if you're feeling low vibrational energies, then it's going to be amplified when you're dealing with nature, when you're dealing with source. We're going to go on to the body tarot. And the first one was greed. And let's see what that is. That's the Four of Earth. And it says greed, scarcity, and fear. There's an old saying that what is for you will never pass you, meaning that fate will ensure that the relationship, career, or luck that is your due will find its way to you, no matter what. However, some people do not trust the universe in that way, and they hold on jealously with both hands to what they have while looking at how they can obtain more. What are you holding on to too tightly? This may be the time to think about loosening your grip and trusting that you will not be abandoned or left destitute if you exercise some generosity of spirit. So, money is about current. It is a currency. It flows. So if you are holding your hand tightly onto what you have, recognize that nothing could get in. A lot of times when you give freely, reciprocity happens, right? And so just if you think about it from a spiritual perspective, you can't be holding on like this, tight to what you have, and think that the universe or source is going to pour in, because how can you pour into something that is tightly closed? Greed means that you are not having gratitude or appreciation, right? And the first part of receiving is being grateful for what you already have. Scarcity mindset means that you don't even feel that you have been given the tools to manifest. That's unworthiness. And then fear blocks out faith. So if you're operating from greed and scarcity and being fearful, that's the breath, that's the spirit that you are manifesting. And so there's no need for a current to flow near you, because it would only become stagnant. And nature is going to be stagnant for no one. The next card we have here is pettiness. First thing I'm thinking about with the pettiness is in the other card that talked about, not judging something as good or bad. Because that's usually when someone becomes petty, when they judge that something that has been said or done to them deserves a slight or being offensive back. And so pettiness is the Five of Wood. And the key words are struggle and conflict. Avoid office politics and getting drawn into the petty struggles of others. You have a bigger picture in mind, and if others cannot see what you are aiming for, then your best bet is to do your own thing as far as you are able to. Removing yourself from those who are petty will always serve you best in the long run. In extreme circumstances, it may even be time to look for another job in order to find a better fit for your values. People who are working 9 to 5 spend a great deal of time at work. People who are living in homes with someone who is not of the same mindset or the same value system, as in being in a roommate situation, or feeling like someone is doing you a favor by giving you a place to stay, and you have totally different values. That's going to make you have to match the energy in order to stay there. And when you are having to match the energy of someone that doesn't have the same values as you, then you are not operating from your authentic self. And this is definitely going to affect your prosperity, your abundance, your earnings, because you have to divert your vitality in a direction just to stay ahead, which is an oxymoron, in the realm of survival mode. So sometimes, even though, we walk around in a culture that talks about no fear and I ain't worried about nothing, removing yourself is the most productive and self-love action that can be attained. The next card is the High Priestess, mystery, and that's the arteries. And the arteries hold the blood that has the vitality. You cut a artery and that blood will shoot up to the ceiling. It's very, very strong. So let's see what that has to say. The key words are mystery, patience, stillness, and enrichment. Seeing this word patience again, which was in one of the other cards. And patience is to be understood as deep contemplation when moving to the new home or to the new job or to the new area that is in alignment with your values. Not remaining comfortable in discomfort, not being lazy, not being afraid of change, so you just are not doing anything. It's about being patient and being wise to process what would be the most strategic way to move into change. To be fluid, but once again, not be naive about the change of circumstances that you're about to proactively step into. The element is fire. Once again, arteries, blood, dragon's blood, that strong force, life force. The arteries are the blood vessels that carry oxygen-rich blood away from the heart and deliver it to the issues of the blood. We all know the seriousness of damaging an artery. High blood pressure is one way in which this can happen. It requires a calm outlook to avoid that condition, and this is the energy of this card. A patient, peaceful stillness that permits the most enriching, nourishing processes to take place. When you see this card in the reading, you are being encouraged to take a patient approach while staying alert to the opportunities and changes in the situation. There are mysterious forces at play here, too, so it can seem as though several coincidences collide to give you an almost ordained outcome. Remember, destiny. That was you have Makana, the journey. And Echinacea, destiny. When you start taking the steps necessary, the universe is going to meet you because you are in the current, in the flow of the journey. The universe is now moving in a way that is for your greater good. You may not be aware of the oxygen that is being delivered to you through the arteries of fortune, but you will certainly see the positive end results. Enough said. The arteries of fortune, the vitality, the journey, the destiny of fortune. And the thunder just sounded again. The last card is from the Star Seed, and that is Activated Earth. Power places, ley lines. Trust where you're led. That speaks to the last card. Trust the journey. Step into it. That's how you trust the journey, by stepping into it. Activated Earth. Ley lines are invisible pathways on the land along which energy travels. They can be sensed when we tune into them with our subtle senses. Also known as spirit paths, they've been compared to the meridian system of the body used in Chinese medicine, and they link sacred sites, stone circles, burial mounds, and places of worship worldwide. In Australian Aboriginal culture, song lines were the paths traveled by the creator beings as they made the land and sea during the dreaming. These paths were recorded in traditional songs and dances of the people, allowing them to access information about the land's history and to travel safely across great distances. Many believe that as we visit such sacred points on earth, something is activated within us. Some also believe that by connecting with the land with devotion at these sacred places, something is activated within the planet too. Are you being called to travel to a sacred place that your soul remembers? Or to tend the land you live on? To honor and acknowledge the known and unknown keepers or nature spirits of that land. As you connect with the earth and honor its keepers, the land opens up more fully to hold you. The fruits provide more nourishment and the guardians watch over you. So this goes back into the last card. As you step into the unknown, as you step into the journey, as you step into the destiny, not being held by the adversity or the obstacles of the past, the land opens up more fully to hold you. So as you let go of that grip, that greed and scarcity and fear are blocking you right now, as you let go of that, I mean, look at it. Here's my hand, right? Nothing can come in. Nothing, absolutely nothing. We know this. But if I open my hand, there are things that are touching my flesh that I can't even see, but that are to my benefit. Nature, the land, opens up more fully to hold you. The fruits provide more nourishment, and the guardians watch over you. So the starseed activation is place the card on the portal of your heart and whisper the following. So I want you to look at this card, and I want you to take a snapshot of it mentally. I'm going to place this card in its activated earth, power places, ley lines, trust where you're led, and I'm going to put it over my heart, and you're going to virtually put it over your heart, the portal of your heart, and whisper the following. It says whisper. So I'm going to whisper slowly, and you're going to repeat it. I honor and thank the keepers of the earth beneath me, known and unknown. Thank you for your nourishment and tender holding. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here and watching the Spirit of Beverly Bolden tarot card reading. I wish you love. I wish you peace. I wish you light. I wish you blessings. And I wish you someone to reach out to that is of equal value and of equal merit of the presence of your mind, body, and soul. And when that person or those people are not available to you, even greater, I wish that you find that person in yourself. Be well. 1.